Hey guys, it's YoungMindedChess here back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Foundation, the city builder. And this is just going to be a basic tutorial for kind of everything you need. And if you do enjoy this kind of content, subscribe if Foundation's your kind of thing. So the first choice you have is here with New Game. You have the map choice. Now I would recommend if you're a beginner not to choose hills and not to choose fluvial. I recommend Valley, to be honest, for starters, because as you see when we load in, it's a nice kind of mix between land and water. It's mainly kind of flat. You have a lot of flat building land, but you also have these raised areas for interesting builds. And in Valley, if you pick it, I recommend picking somewhere that has water as well, so you can get fishing early. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this. Now, you don't have to worry about picking, you can pick all of these. If it has a white kind of tile, then it has everything you need. It has berries, it has wood, and it has stone. So even though we can't see the stone here, it is, there we go, it's in there. So if it has a white hexagon, it does have stone. So I'm going to go ahead and buy this one. And then the first thing you do when you buy your first plot is you need to put down your village centre. So I'm just going to put it here. And this will give you your first 8 villagers, I believe it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 villagers. And then basically I recommend pausing the game, and the first resources we need are wood, stone and food. Now wood and stone are pretty self-explanatory. You mine stone and you cut down wood, and then the food comes from berries. So it's this little source here. Well, the first source of food is berries. So the main things you need first are a lumber camp. So we see it here. We need a gathering hut for the berries, and then we need a stone cut camp for the stone. I also recommend building a granary to store the berries and the food. So now that we have these, what you need to do is basically, I recommend making 2 villagers builders to begin with. And what they'll do is they'll start building these things. So if we put it on normal speed again, we'll see they'll gather up the tools from the middle using the starting resources we got. And then they will start building these things. So as we can see here, they pick up the boxes and they head over to the building site. This one's building the lumber camp, and this one's building the gathering hut. So then after we build those things, we need to make a way for them to actually gather it. So how you do that, you should go into paint development zones and extraction. So extraction is basically the whole way to gather any of these resources. So you can make the selection bigger or smaller by holding control and then using your mouse wheel, forward or back. And then you need to hover over the section you want to extract. So say we want to extract these berries, boom, like that. But we're going to want to extract a lot of this kind of tree land around the coast. So we're actually going to just make it as big as possible and go up to there. So now the woodcutters will cut every tree in that area, but remember we also need the stone. So we need to find the stone hiding in amongst this, here we go, and then just make it a bit bigger and highlight that stone. So now they'll go in there, they will cut down those trees, but they'll also get the stone there. And if we maybe wanted a nice clearing to that stone, we can just make it big and then like come out that way. So then they'll cut down all the trees on the way to that stone. And if we kind of wanted to link them up, we could just get rid of that one as well. So there we go. But obviously we need to assign people to cut down this stuff. So what you do is you click on the thing in question, so forager, and then you click assign available villager. and this will assign a villager to it that doesn't have a job. So the 2 builders can't be picked, so I'm going to assign 2 foragers, 2 lumber camps, and we're waiting for a builder on the stone cutter camp. So once that's built, we can put some people on there. But as you can see, they'll gather up their axe and they're going to go and find some trees to cut down. So they'll just go over there and cut down the tree, and you can see they'll just mine the berries and bring them back to the granary. And you can see the 2 builders working away on the buildings. The stone cutter camp should be finished soon, and then we can put another 2 people that we have there on to the stone cutters. So that's the stone cutter camp done. We can put 2 more on there, and you can see they get their little pickaxes and they'll go and mine that stone in the forest now. So we can see they're kind of heading off to get that stone way in there. So throughout the game you will get quests as well. So for example, it says build a granary. And this is very useful because this, like following these quests, gives you rewards and gold, but it's also a great way to kind of learn what you need to be doing. So the next thing I need to do is build this granary. But you can see to do that I need stone, and that's why she's not doing anything. So she'll basically wait for them to return with their stone, and then she'll take it from there and use it to build the granary. So now you can see they're returning from mining the stone. They'll head and bring it back to the place. As you can see, there's 1 stone, 2 stones sitting in there. She'll take out the stone and start building the granary with it. Now this is why you should, you have to think about how time works. So obviously that I have the stone cutter camp in the middle of town, they have to walk back and forth from that, but it also means that anyone can get the stone and bring it, so you need to think about that because there is time involved in walking. They don't just mine the stone and teleport it back, they have to walk it back to camp. So that is an important factor that you need to remember. So basically when you get workers, this is what you have to do for the next kind of little while. And I recommend just speeding it to 3 speed, just so they kind of do that for a little bit and that everything you need gets done. So as we can see, the granary is almost finished. It probably just needs 1 more stone, yeah. So when they come back with their stone next time, they'll be completely ready to build the granary. Then what you want to do is take the villager from before, the builder that you made, I believe it is this one, basically the one that's not, you want to get the lowest level one, and change them into a transporter. And then when the granary is up and running, they will transport items from the shacks that they're made in. So for example, if we go in here, we see slot 1, we can select berries. This means that she will go and collect the berries from here, bring them back, and store them in the granary. Now the reason we do this is so that we can store things so that the villagers can use them, because they can't take them directly out of there. They have to be stored in a way. So what can we actually do with this? Well, the main purpose of this is the market. So this is a monument building, which means they have this sort of you make them up in parts, it's not just a singular building. And we want to sell berries. So we're going to put the berries just outside of the, we're just going to put them just outside of the granary. And what you need here is you need to press control and you can rotate which way you like. So I'm going to rotate it just like that and put it just in front of the granary. And then basically these parts are the general parts, so these are the parts that actually do something. So there's a food stall, a goods stall, and a luxury goods stall. And then the rest are decorative, so they just add splendour, and I'll explain what splendour is later. But as you can see, the total cost here is 10 wood, and the upfront cost is none. So all you want to do is hit start construction, and you'll see the blueprints basically get put on the ground there. Then the builder will come along and begin to make the market. And as you can see, they'll do this here. Again, it can take a while, but they're almost done here. Sometimes they'll take a break in the middle and it won't get done, but as you can see, we have the market here. But for a market to function, what we need is a market tender. And what a market tender is basically someone who runs the market. So we're going to pick someone that isn't getting used at the moment. So we're going to pick the, we'll probably pick one of the foragers, because you don't really need to. I just wanted to get some early berries, and we're going to put them as the market tender. Then you need to set what the market will sell. So if we click on market, the only thing we have available is berries right now, but you can have cheese, milk, fish, other foods like that in the food market. So we're going to assign berries. So then what you will see, I probably should have put this around the other way. I can't change it now, I don't believe. Yeah, just be careful. You know what way you're putting round things, otherwise it will look ridiculous. Like that. Because I don't believe it. Yeah, you can't rotate it after. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, so just remember what ways you're rotating things, because otherwise it can look a bit stupid. But what you can see is she's basically bringing the berries from the granary here, where we're storing them, and she's bringing them to the market to sell. So as you can see, she's got 44 berries for sale, and this is basically how you make money from your villagers. You sell them things. So they'll come and buy the berries from the market tender. Then the last part of this quest is we need a well. So the well basically delivers water. And as you can see, if we look at one of our characters, you just do that by clicking on them, or you can go to the villager list and click on their names like that. You will get a list of what they want. So she wants food, so we're pretty much fulfilling that need by giving her berries, but she also wants water, and that's a primary need, so it's more important. So what we want to do here is go into the public buildings and find the well. Now this costs 20 gold and 10 wood and 5 stone. It also has a 15 gold maintenance cost. So this means that part, it'll minus 15, because it costs 15 to run this well. And I'm just going to put this in the middle of town. So then after time, the builder will come along, they'll bring the materials to the well, and they'll begin construction. As you can see, that's exactly what they're doing. They brought the 10 wood, and then after a little bit, they'll go over here and get the 5 stone required. And as you can see, the transporter doing their job, bringing the berries from the gather hut, whatever you want to call it, and storing it in the granary. So after you build a well, it basically means that your citizens have everything, and after that you can start getting immigrants coming to your city who will join your city and become one of your villagers, which is the main thing you can do to basically build up your workforce and scale over time. So the builder will take a break, so I believe this is the builder here, yep. So she's just taking a break, and they don't constantly work. So she'll take a break, and then you'll see her, she'll go over to this stonecutter place here, and she'll get the rocks that she needs to finish the well. Sometimes it can take a while, it just depends on how long they want to take. But she should stop soon and then go and get the rocks for the stonecutter for the well. What you can do is, if it is taking a while, just put it on 3 times speed, and then you can see she's actually doing it now. So she was just finishing the wood construction, and then she'll walk over and get the stones and finish it. There you go. So then we'll have the well, and this is basically everything a village needs. Essentially, like these are the essentials. You need food, you need rock, stone, and you need wood, stone, food, water, and that's it. And as you can see, we're now looking for immigration. So we need to raise happiness. Now happiness is basically what these people want. So you can see she wants water, but she's going to get that. So the happiness will rise now that we have a well. So if your happiness doesn't rise immediately, it's just because they've been working and they haven't actually had time to get water. So we can see we're going to speed it up to 3 times again. And you should see the happiness begin to slowly rise now as they take their breaks and they actually have time to get water. But you also do need to remember that you have a maximum of 500 gold. So if you have a maximum gold and you're earning money, I recommend just going into decorations and just putting down a couple of decorations. This is because if you're going to reach the cap, there's no point in just letting the gold not go into your account. You may as well just lose the money, basically, just buying something. Obviously, if you can actually buy something that's more efficient, so I probably, what I should have done is went into the market, went edit, and used some of my gold to build things like this. And what this does is it gives you splendor. So splendor, I'm going to explain now, is used in the estate manager. This name might change, but that's what it's called at the moment. So you click on that, and this will basically let you buy things. So you have labour, kingdom, and clergy. So that's basically the people, the king, and the church. So it says what you need here. So for the warehouse, you need 10 newcomers and 0 splendour. So we don't need any splendour for that, we just need 10 people in our village. But then for the fisher's hut in the hedge, we need 20 serfs, I'll explain that later, and 6 splendour. So basically a serf is a type of person in your village. See, status serf. Everyone starts as a newcomer when they immigrate to your village, and then you can promote them to serf using the Lord's Manor, which is this building here, which we'll be building after we get our immigrants. So basically the goal of the game is to max these out and then just build a city to the best of your ability. So we're going to put it back into speed so our happiness will raise and we can get the immigration. What I'm actually going to do though is I'm going to start building the sawmill. Even though I don't have the right items to build it, I'm going to basically start making it just because of the upfront gold cost. So that's, let me put that down, and then I'm also going to put the stonemason hut next to that as well. This is basically so that you can spend your gold and it's not getting wasted, basically. Even though you might not have, so for example, we don't have cloth yet, and here we do have all the items for that, but we don't have cloth yet, so we shouldn't actually be able to make that yet. But because we've already paid the upfront cost, the worst case scenario is it just sits there until we can't afford to use it. But as you can see, she will start building the sawmill, and what the sawmill does is it basically makes wood, so standard wood that they bring to it, into wooden planks, which is a resource that you can use to build more complex buildings, or you can sell it in some cases. So that is definitely recommended. As you can see, we're still bringing our berries along, and we're waiting for our immigrant to arrive. You'll know when they arrive when they either pop up, or you will see your people counter go up to whatever the amount you're expecting. They do take a while to arrive from when you get the notification, so don't be surprised if you don't see them right away. So you basically just have to build up your city slowly, and then you'll begin getting immigration. As you can see, there's the immigrant there, I spotted them. So they'll have to run through this forest. And then when they enter the city boundaries and get to the village centre, this should change to 9. And there you go. And then because we have 9 immigrants, well 9 citizens now, the king will now recognise us and we can work for the king. So what you want to do is pause after you get your first one, and then you want to build a new building, which is the Lord Manor. Now this is basically your hub for doing everything. So again, it's a monument building, so it's similar to the market, as in you build it in parts. So what you need for the Lord Manor is a core. So I'm just going to put it like that. And then you also need a door. So I'm going to put that one there. And then that's it. But what you can see is it's costing 18 planks and 9 stone. I'm actually going to put a tower on the back, just as basically you can assign buildings to different regions. So we'll need one as a grand hall, and then I'm going to keep one as a treasury. So we're going to build that, and what we need is 35 planks. So we have the stone, so we need to wait for this to finish basically. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for that to be finished, and then we're going to assign that new villager we just got to become a carpenter. That basically means they'll take the wood from here and they will bring it to the sawmill and make planks with it. Now if we go into this estate manager, we can see we're one newcomer away from getting the warehouse. But you can see we have 4 influence on kingdom and labour. So you basically just want to wait for that to be built, and then the carpenter, even though it's red at the moment because they can't find a place to work, they will go in there and start working in there. As you can see, they bring the wooden planks inside, start cutting away. They brought 8 wooden planks in, so they'll bring out 4 planks. Also, now that I'm here, what you'll need to basically begin trading is the Grand Hall, which is this building that we started, the Lord Manor. So as you can see, if we go into trade, you can set up trade routes. So if I give Northbury 20 planks, I'll be able to open up a trade route with them. So I can sell them berries, polished stone, wooden planks and wine. And I can buy from them honey, glass, tools, barrels, fish, and that's it. So you can basically trade and buy these things from them. But first you need to make a grand hall. And also once you get your new villager, this will pop up that they lack space for housing. So again, this is in the paint zone and you want to go residential. So this is basically the desirability of land. So some people will be very unhappy if you try to put them in a low desirability home. So as you can see, a lot of them want to basically live up here on this little hilly bit. So we're going to see if we can get a couple of houses on there, if we can get lucky. They will build houses automatically, which sucks in my opinion, because they put them in really weird formations sometimes, but that's just something you have to deal with. So we're just going to clear out this extraction zone here, just clean it up a bit, now that the trees have been removed, just so we are kind of keeping our areas clean, because it will make a difference kind of as the game goes on, and you have a lot of zones There maybe are some trees that you want to leave for aesthetic reasons. So again, they might start building houses there, they might not. But again, it doesn't really matter at first about the desirability. It's more when you get picky villagers later on, they only want to live in houses with certain desirability. And obviously if they're in more desirable housing, they will be happier. So what we're doing is we're just making our planks and basically just building the Lord Manor with it. We still need another 25 planks. And where we can store these raw resources is when we get the warehouse from the estate manager. So we basically need more immigration. So to do that we need to be making development zones, we need people to be building houses basically, so that they can live in the area, so there's housing spaces for people to move pretty much. Yeah, so I'm going to have most of my citizens kind of living along the coast. But yeah, do keep in mind with your desirability, some of them will only want to live close to their workspace. So say if they're a gatherer, they might not want to live, if you have 2 tiles, like all the way over there, because they have to commute to get there. So again, I recommend a lot of this game will be spent in kind of free speed while you're just waiting for your villages to do things. So as you can see, they're just making planks. If I wanted to speed up the process, I could put another villager in there and they would make the planks quicker. But as you can see, we're almost finished. They're getting there with they only need 5 more stone and 17 more planks. And as you can see, no one wanted to join our village. This is because we do not have housing. And we don't have housing because we only have 1 builder and they're working on the Lord Manor at the moment. As you can see, the stonemason hut is finished. So they can begin making polished stone, which is a really great resource to sell. It is also used in more advanced buildings. But I recommend early on just selling it. And keeping a little bit for yourself, obviously, so you can make those buildings. But it's a great source of income early on. So as you can see, everything is running smoothly. We're gathering the berries, they're getting sold at market, and we're in the process of building the Lord Manor. This is also, the Lord Manor is also where you will take all your meetings. So you will decide if you want to help the church, if you want to help the people, or if you want to help the king. Or if you want to be greedy and just keep it all for yourself. So as you can see, they're all just working away. We're going to wait for the Lord Manor to be finished. I believe we should be getting there with the planks. I think the villager is just taking a rest. As you can see, she'll go in and get more now. And she should almost be finished with completing it. It is taking a while just because the carpenter does need to make all the planks. So yeah, it can take a while, but you don't need to worry about it. You're not under any threats, so you can take as long as you want. And I think that's what's great about this game. It's really kind of slow paced, relaxed, and you can really kind of play the game how you want to play it. So we're just needing 1 more plank now and then the Lord Manor will be complete, which is great. She'll probably go in there and get the extra wooden planks in a minute, and then she'll just finish off the building, and then I can show you what to do with that. But until you have adequate housing, you will not get immigration, because obviously they don't want to immigrate to somewhere that has no houses for them to stay in. So this is the Lord Manor complete. So what you want to do is click on it and go to parts, and this is where you can assign a function. So I'm going to make the court the Great Hall. This basically means we can promote villagers to higher statuses, and it's also where we'll take envoys. And then the wooden tower I'm going to use as the treasury. What this does is it basically expands our gold capacity that we can keep, so that we can have more money. This means we can store up a bit more money and we don't have to spend it recklessly. So now we want the builder to mainly focus on building houses, so we're not going to put down anything else that they will make. This will mean that they will, when they have time, they will go over and start building houses. They will only build as many houses as they need. They won't overbuild houses or just build as many as possible. They will build them as they need them. So if you have 8 villagers, they'll normally build around 4 houses to begin with, because it's 4 people per house. Not 4 people, 2 people per house to begin with. But again, that can change over time. But this game is definitely really relaxing. You mainly just spend a lot of your time just kind of watching your village and watching the people roam about it and kind of watch what they do. If they're not building after some time, you might need to kind of increase the area, because this game is still in early access. They might just not understand that they can build houses on their area. So it might be that you need to clear it out first, or that you need to give them more space. But it might be that they just need time. And that is basically what you need to work out with this game. If it is a bug, or if you just need to give them more time. Actually, I don't want anyone building houses over there, so there we go. And they will start building houses eventually, but basically you just want to follow the quests at the top, and they're going to help you and guide you. If you do need further help, I recommend clicking this help button here, and you can follow all the tutorials that they have. They're all written down. So what we're waiting for is we're waiting for the end of the month so that we can promote villagers and unlock the warehouse. The warehouse will let us basically store goods, so stuff like wood, stone, things like that, and that means we're able to sell them, so we're able to trade them to other villages, and this gives us a really great way to make money. And that means we can invest back into our village and set it up. Now if you are looking to rename your village, all you want to do is click there and rename it. I'm going to call it Youngdonia and save. And if you have been enjoying this tutorial so far, I recommend subscribing, because I will be making further content on this subject. So we're just going to clear the residential zone like that, and we're going to wait for them to basically continue to build. At this point in time you can also build the rustic church, which is the same as Lord Manor, and it does things for the church. So as we can see here, it's the end of the month, so we can see month 3, week 1, day 1, so it's the end of month 2, so we can promote people in the village. So we're going to pay him 20 gold, and this is a one-time payment, it's not, constant, and it basically means they're more efficient pretty much. So we're going to just hit pay and then enough promotions. Then this basically means that the king will start giving us missions, and that we should be able to unlock the warehouse soon. So the king gives you missions which are for your army, but before you can do that you will need to unlock the wooden keep, and that's how you train soldiers. So we are just waiting basically for the villagers to start building houses, and it can take a while sometimes. From what I know, there is no way to actually set them to just build houses. You just need to highlight the areas where they can build houses and then hope that they do, basically. As you can see, they are all complaining about they can't find a home close enough to their workspace. but I have given them the opportunity, and for some reason they don't want to do it. So that's the main problem, is actually getting the villagers to do what you want in this game can be problematic. Now there is also Forbidden Land, so this is mainly used for pathing and it's more advanced, to be honest. So it's basically, if you want to, don't want people walking like in between here, then you can set that as Forbidden Land and no one will walk over that. It's more advanced, and it's when you have kind of bigger structures and you don't want people getting stuck in things. So say if you didn't want people kind of walking round the edges of your village, because you had something like that, you could put it like that and no one will walk in there. But again, Forbidden Land is a more kind of advanced technique, and I wouldn't recommend you using it early on, especially because the game is a bit buggy at the moment. As you can see, we actually got a layout for a couple of houses now, which is nice. Sometimes it can take a while. So sometimes you will just need to kind of waste the trees and just plant them, because it can be difficult to get the housing. And it is really annoying how the residential thing works. I hope they change it, because they build them in just completely weird ways and random ways, and it just doesn't look great in my opinion. So we're just waiting for them to finish building the houses, and then after that we can get more immigration. We only need one more, and that means we can get the warehouse and we can start storing things. So as you can see, 2 decided to join out of the 2, and if you click on that you will be able to see where they're coming from. So as you can see, it is quite a journey, because we are all the way down here. So that is why it takes quite a few days. But until they arrive you can't actually unlock the things, because they don't count as in your city until they actually get there. So that is definitely a problem. And if you do want to watch them, you can do. It's completely up to you. So you just want to go back to your village pretty much and see what's going on. They should just begin building houses pretty much. As you can see, they are. Again, they might not be particularly happy about these houses, but in the beginning stages it's not a big deal. As long as they have a house, they'll normally be fine. And they should build these over time. If you want to look at your budget, you need to go, where is it exactly? It's over here somewhere. And you will see what you're earning. So the villagers are making 81 gold from berries, and the maintenance cost is 80, well, it's going up now because we're building houses. But it's, you know, around that area. So we're making as much as we're kind of spending, which is important. And then we got 2 more people. So we can basically choose what all these people do. So we don't have a stonemason yet, so we're going to assign one of them in there. We have enough stonecutters. We're going to assign another forager, just because we have more food now. We have everything there. We'll maybe make we'll do another woodcutter. Just for now. I'll probably change them to the transport for the warehouse. And then now that we have them, we can get the warehouse. And we can begin to build this. So this is basically the same as the granary, but instead of food, it's for just various storage. So again, we're just going to put this like just off the road over here. Now my village layout is not the best, to be honest. It definitely could be better. So that's something to keep in mind. And as you can see, we need 10 serfs and then we can unlock an army. So you get serfs by upgrading them, as you saw before, at the end of the month. So you can see we're on week 3, day 4. So once we reach month 4, week 1, day 1, we can upgrade them. And it's basically just about managing your village and growing. And these are all the key components pretty much. So once you get the warehouse built, you can prioritise it, because they'll probably be building houses or something like that. So we basically just need to wait for the builder to build that. And as I said, it can take a while sometimes, even when you are on 3 times speed, just because they have to move a lot of things basically. But we have all the resources to build it. We have the 15 planks and we have the 10 stone. So it's basically just a time issue, and they should bring it to the warehouse soon enough. I can't remember who our builder was exactly. Why don't we have one? Okay, for some reason the builder got made unemployed. Actually, I think I saw it. I think it was Edith, wasn't it? Yeah. For some reason the builder got unemployed. Just watch out for bugs like that sometimes. They can happen. So if you realise that someone's not doing their job for a while, check that they actually still have that job. Because this game, because it is early access, it can bug out sometimes. And it can cause you problems. So we're just going to basically wait to get this finished. They just need to bring the stone over, and then they will finish it. And then I can show you what the warehouse does. So I think that's her coming back now. There we go. So they'll pretty much finish building that for us. They will just need to go and get the stone from the stone cutters, and then she'll be able to finish the warehouse. And then I can show you how trade route works. So we're almost finished here. Bring the last bit over, and then just finish building it. Over there for some reason, I believe. Yeah. She's just sitting in the blueprints of her house, just staring. Because I think they still get assigned the house even if it's not built. So they will just go and stand in it in their free time, which I think is great. So this should be finished for us now. There we go. And then the warehouse is the exact same as the granary. You just choose. So say we want to store planks and polished stone, you just accept those, and then you need a transporter. So we do have more immigrants coming to the city. As you can see, they just walked in because it went to 12, so we just want to assign them as the transporter. Then they'll walk over to these places and gather these resources and bring them in and store them. So then the last thing you want to do, the last thing of this tutorial anyway, make sure to promote all your serfs, if you have the gold obviously, and then we can see we can unlock a trade route. So we can unlock one with Northbury. So basically, unlock trade route, it costs us 20 planks and then we can trade with them. So we want to basically buy tools. So to buy tools from them, you will put the slot, go to tools, so now we can store tools in here. Then you go into trade, trading resources. Sorry about that. Go into tools and put how many you want. Let's say we want to buy 10 tools. We'll buy until the inventory reaches that value, and that basically means we will buy 10 tools, and if we're ever under 10 tools, so say if we are on 8 tools, we'll buy 2 tools. If we're on 5, we'll buy 5, things like that. And that's how it works, and we'll basically store things in there. But now we're on 10 tools, we won't buy any additional tools. A lot of people are getting confused with this, I believe. They were thinking it will constantly buy 10 tools. But no, it'll just keep it to that level. And now if we go into the estate manager, because we upgraded them to serfs, we can now build a wooden keep. And a wooden keep is how you get your soldiers. And you'll get a lot of messages from the king all the time, and he's basically asking if we'll buy a wooden keep and build it, and we're going to do it. So what you have to do to build a wooden keep is build a core and a door, and it's as simple as that. You don't need a roof, you don't need training dummies, although training dummies are very important. If you do have the planks to spare, I recommend just popping on a simple roof just for aesthetic reasons. It only costs 5 planks. You know, obviously if you have more, you can build more, you get more splendor from it, and splendor is important later on in the game. But as you can see, that'll cost 80 planks and it'll start building. Now we only have 46 planks, so what we could do is go into our trade menu and look for who's selling planks. There might not be anyone, there might be someone sometimes. As you can see, there is no one selling planks, so it's not like we could even buy them. We will have to make the planks ourselves. So as you can see, the houses are also getting made as we speak, pretty much. So they will keep making those. Just remember to keep on top of your immigration, because see, I've got 1 extra person there, and I didn't even see them come in just because I wasn't thinking about it. Yeah, so also to trade stuff, so see, they are buying stone for 6 gold. This is probably the best way to make money. So say we want to keep, let's say we want to keep 50 polished stone and sell anything above that. So we have 30 at the moment. So actually we'll do 30. So trade, trading resources, polished stone we want to set to 30. And then click this down arrow. So this basically means we will keep 30 for ourselves and we'll sell anything else on top of that. You can do this with berries, wood, anything. You can do this with any resource. And it's a great way to kind of get rid of extra resources you don't need in exchange for money. So I'm not sure if this actually built this wooden keep, because it didn't put down the foundations for it. So sometimes this will happen in the game. It does say it's there, as you can see it's highlighted, so it's maybe just that it's hiding in the long grass. So just be prepared to for things to not work sometimes, because it is a very new game. Then there's the envoy. I think he's gone. But basically when they request an audience, they will come to your Great Hall, you will click on them and they'll give you a quest. So it'll be a delivery quest, so it'll maybe be deliver 30 berries to the king, the people, or the clergy, and you'll get to pick which one. So if you want more favour with the king, you can deliver it to the king. If you want more favour with your people, you can deliver it to them. And if you want more favour with the church, you can deliver it to them. And it will reward you with these points. So say if I wanted to build a hunter's hut, I had 15 splendor, but I didn't have you know, free, I can't remember what they're called, free influence with the kingdom, then I could do a mission for him and it would give me that influence. And now we've also unlocked walls. So basically to do that, you just drag like that and build it. It builds immediately and it doesn't cost anything. I'm not sure why. I'm assuming that probably will be changed, maybe not, just because it's an aesthetic thing. But yeah, so that is how you build walls. You just go ahead and build it like that basically, and you can put them wherever you want. But constantly do be looking out, because as you can see I've got 3 more people in my village that I don't even know where they came from. But I'm going to just leave them for a bit, because I am going to turn them into soldiers. Just to show you how they work basically. So soldiers will live inside the keep, so they won't take up housing space. And you will need to build extensions to the keep if you want to increase the amount of soldiers you're going to have. Also, it is important fairly early on, you either want to expand, so say if I wanted more trees I could expand into this area, or I could buy a reforester, which is in here, forester camp, And what these people do is basically build more trees. They'll replant trees for you. Now they won't be built immediately, they will have to grow like normal trees, but obviously they don't take like 20 years like normal trees do nowadays. So we're just waiting for this wooden keep to be finished. The builder should be bringing along the last of the supplies soon, so that we can actually basically finish this building. And then we can assign soldiers, and I'll show you how to send them on the king's mission. So we're almost finished that. It can take a while just because it's such a big building and it requires so many resources. But we will be finished with it, and then we can create soldiers and send them on missions. But for now, I'll basically explain how it works. So you send soldiers there and then they become soldiers. And then what you have is these parts. So you will need training dummies outside for them to actually become trained soldiers. And you will need extensions if you want to have more, because they will need a place to sleep. Then you have things like banners, which are just for splendor basically. And then you have the doors to get into the place. But as you can see, they will build it along. I'll maybe make some of the new people that have just came to my village builders, just so they can work on separate parts. Because it should be that you can see they will build separate parts. So it is recommended to have more than one builder, just because they can work on buildings like this on separate parts. As you can see, one's building the door and one's building the main part. The core, and then they'll finish off by building the wooden top. So as you can see, they're just going to bring the 5 planks and then finish it, and we'll have a completely completed wooden keep. And this is where we send our military missions from. Again, this is completely up to you. You don't even have to have military, but what you do is click on general and assign villagers. Now those two will be assigned here. They cannot work on anything else. They are full-time soldiers. Now they won't train because you don't have the training dummies. You require cloth for that. So basically what we want to do to manage them is go into Army Manager, and if you want to find missions for them, you would go into available mission list. These will be given to you by the king. Then you can find missions you've accepted and previous missions you've either won or lost. You can also give them swords if you have them in your inventory, and this will give them extra strength. So you have to think about whether you want to do this. And I always recommend, if you have the gold, always upgrade your serfs if you can afford it, because it'll unlock you great kind of things that you can upgrade and buy. I believe this is all I'm going to show in the beginner part of this tutorial. I will do further kind of tutorials with more advanced techniques, and also do gameplays of this game. So definitely stick around, subscribe if you've enjoyed this, and for now, I'll see you soon.